This has been a phenomenal best Ball Mania draft. FTN Fantasy, Mike Randle here at Randle Rand on Twitter. We have done over 50 best ball drafts. I've gone through the machinations. We got the training camp news. We got everything coming in for you here to try to figure out what you need in order to be successful. And this draft has worked perfectly. I'd like to show you what I've done so far. It's been outstanding. Here we go. I ended up having the 5th pick. Okay. I reached for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, you may think that's crazy, but I'm at the point now after doing over 50 of these drafts that I'm going to get my guys. I don't care. I have a strategy. I like wide receiver early. I've gone running back early. I've even paired quarterback with running back with wide receiver and stacked. Don't like it. I like the heavy wide receiver build early, and that's what we have here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, to me, is the gold standard. He is safe. He's in an offense that he's going to be the focal point of the passing attack. He is going to have, I think, 100 receptions. He's an end zone target. Jameson Williams is suspended for 6 games. He's going to eat up the targets in this offense. They averaged 33 points per game at home last year, Detroit. Their defense did not improve that much, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether it's negative game script, positive game script. I don't care. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I then went Devonta Smith because I want a part of this Eagles offense. So I got Devonta Smith there. Was very happy he was there. Then Jerry Jeudy. I'm very high on this attack with the Broncos. And Jerry Jeudy to me is the clear number one, especially now KJ Hamler has been waived because of the medical issue. He could come back, but he's waived now. And of course, Tim Patrick, knee injury. It's really sad for Tim Patrick. 2nd year in a row that he is out. So I love Jerry Jeudy. Then the only place that I was frustrated is I did not get Najee Harris, who is a volume king, who is a goal line running back for Pittsburgh. I took Terry McLaurin. I am up right now. Let's see what we have. I have 1 quarterback, which is Herbert. I have 2 running backs and 4 wide receivers. Let's see where we go here. Yep, this is where I'm going. There we go. Cortland Sutton. So I could not get Najee Harris, which is disappointing because I wanted to have 1 running back there in the first 4 rounds. Instead, went with Terry McLaurin. Death taxes last 2 years, 77 receptions each of those 2 years, regardless of the poor quarterback play, and 1,000 receiving yards. Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett, whoever's going to be there, I think he is a solid depth pick there at wide receiver. Then we go with Justin Herbert, one of my favorite quarterbacks. I'm looking to get Russell Wilson coming around soon to have him as well. David Montgomery was available. I took him. I wanted Dameon Pierce. He was sniped right before me there. So I have David Montgomery, solid running back for the Lions. Again, having the 2 lines. I'm hoping maybe get Goff if I can't get Russell Wilson. James Cook, I'm buying into the 3-down workload with Buffalo. I'm buying into James Cook being a workhorse. Love the Buffalo offense. Decided to pass on Stephon Diggs, so wanted a part of that. And just took Cortland Sutton to keep the Denver stack because I think Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson is a great buy low candidate. He's going after Anthony Richardson. He's going after Aaron Rodgers. He's going even after Jared Goff. I love getting Russell Wilson in those situations. So we're coming up now. We have 3 picks ahead. We have 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver. I have not picked a tight end yet. I'm probably going to wait on tight end. That's going to be my choice. I do have the 5 wide receivers. With Cortland Sutton, I see that Sky Moore went. That's another guy that I target. So I think we're going running back here. Can I wait on quarterback with Wilson? I probably can. He's way down the list, no problem. So we have Antonio Gibson. We have A.J. Dillon. We have Rashad Penny, Charbonnet, Samaje P. Ryan. So many options here. I'm going to go with P. Ryan. I'm taking Samaje P. Ryan as my 3rd running back. There he is. So right now, if you look at my team, and if you have your questions, make sure to put them in the chat, folks, and I will get to them certainly. Okay. If you look at my team right now, we have Herbert, we have Montgomery, James Cook, P. Ryan, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton. I do not have a stack here with Justin Herbert, which is frustrating. A player I would want is Quentin Johnston, but he went. Keenan Allen, I had to make a choice with him or Jeudy. I decided to go with Jeudy there. We'll get the stack with Wilson. And I could have got Mike Williams also, another player that went right before me there. So I don't have a stack with Justin Herbert, which is disappointing, but I think I will get Wilson. So I will end up having some sort of stack there. I love Herbert. I love him in the Kellen Moore offense. I think we can pick up wide receivers later. Maybe we could pick some of those depth guys up with our last pick. I love Donald Parham, who I think is a great late round tight end flyer. He's 6'8", big target in the end zone, or even Gerald Everett. So I'm waiting on tight end. That's probably how I'm going to fill it in. But let's take a look at the draft board here. And it's gone very well. Coming back around, I'm definitely going to target Russell Wilson, which means I'm going to have at this point, let's look at my team here. I'm going to have entering this round 3 running backs, all of which are solid, 5 wide receivers, no tight end. You have to make a decision. If you want to, the decision I made is that I wanted to grab Justin Herbert early and get one of those stud top 5. I even have them, our FTN rankings here, top 3 quarterback this year with Herbert, which means I would have liked to stack him, but I didn't get a chance to get those wide receivers. So we'll look for other ways. I also love Joshua Kelly as a late running back flyer because A, Eckler could get hurt. B, he didn't have a ton of rushing yards for this team last year. And with Kellen Moore coming over, there's no guarantee. Kellen Moore has used 2 running backs with Pollard and Zeke Elliott that I think there's going to be another running back, and it could very well be Joshua Kelly, especially at the goal line. So I'll find ways to get other Chargers. But I like this team. David Montgomery, exposure to Lions in a team right now that has Gibbs as a rookie, that has Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's going to score points, and David Montgomery. And look, he doesn't have to have the massive touchdowns that Jamal Williams had, but I think he's a lock, pretty close to a lock for double-digit touchdowns. James Cook, I think, is a big, big part of the offense. Sometimes you get these training camp reports. Sometimes they make sense. Sometimes they do not. In this case, I think makes a lot of sense, and I think James Cook is going to be a big part of this offense. And then Samaje Perine, because listen, just because Javonte Williams is running and just because Javonte Williams is out there with the team does not mean that he's ready to come back and assume a larger role. They did not get a running back. They did not add any running backs there to their team. So Samaje Perine, who is great coming out of the backfield, great with receptions, is going to be a big part of this team. We're coming back around here. I probably can wait on Wilson for the next pick. Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Wilson. So let me see if there's a running back that I like there. Charbonnet, Brian Robinson, Damian Harris. I could pair up the Buffalo rushers there. Couple different options. I think I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. Because in this Washington offense, I already have McLaurin. I have a part of this. I'm going to take Robinson now. Okay, and I'm hoping to get Russell Wilson coming back. So what that gave me there by taking Robinson is that gave me 4 running backs, which I love, 4 solid guys, Montgomery, Cook, Perine, Robinson. No one who jumps out like is an absolute stud, but solid players all around. I have Herbert, who's a great quarterback, and I have 5 really solid receivers. Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, McLaurin, Cortland Sutton. Assuming I can get Russell Wilson coming back here, this has worked out perfectly. I'll then look for some tight end depth. I'll then look to add maybe a running back here or there. We'll be ready to roll. Jerick McKinnon goes. A-Chain goes from Miami. I can't get away from the fact that I think that Russell Wilson, who's the 3rd quarterback here, so I got to be careful. There goes Zay Jones. Aaron Rodgers is still there. The backup would be Goff. What would be a disaster when it comes back around and we're 5 picks away is if both Goff and Wilson are gone. That would hurt. If I had Goff, I stack him with Montgomery. I stack him with Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I'd rather have Wilson because now that target tree in Denver has started to narrow. No Hamler, no Tim Patrick. Greg Dulcich is a great stack option for me as a tight end. There's been rumors in camp. I've been doing the training camp reports here at FTN. We put out a training camp summary Monday through Friday here at FTN Fantasy that Greg Dulcich is actually going to be used maybe in a Taysom Hill role, which could only increase now after everything that's happened with the wide receivers. We're up here in 2 picks, so we're probably safe. It's Rodgers, it's Goff, and it's Wilson. Those are the 3 quarterbacks. Definitely going to have to grab one here. Remember, I left Wilson on the board because I wanted to get Brian Robinson, who I think, again, sometimes these plotters, there goes Romeo Dubs, so we're getting one of the other, Goff or Wilson. And there it is. We're going to get Wilson. Perfect. There it is. Sometimes these plotters get a bad name, and I know we want receptions coming out of the backfield. Remember, Brian Robinson last year he was shot. He actually had the injury where he was shot, and we were worried about a life or death situation. Luckily, he survived, and he came back. I think Brian Robinson was pretty useful last year in that Washington backfield. Now, with a training camp, with full health, with now Eric Bieniemy coming over, I think there's going to be opportunities here for him to get more involved. And I like this offense here in Washington. Not as big on Gibson, but I do have McLaurin. I have Robinson. McLaurin should get the majority of target share, and that's what I want. I want a wide receiver that's going to get the dominant target share, and that's what I have here in McLaurin. So even though the offense is a little shaky, I think it's good to go. Okay, so we have our quarterbacks. We have Wilson and we have Herbert. The buys are good. I started looking at the buys recently because sometimes I was going with Goff and Wilson, who both have buys on week 9. Herbert by week 5. Wilson by week 9 is fine. You look at the running backs, Montgomery and P. Ryan, both buys on 9. Cook and Brian Robinson, 13 and 14. So we have options there as well. And I love the wide receivers. Best wide receiver group I've had. Amon-Ra, Devonta, Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton across the board. Now, 3 of those wide receivers have buys in week 9, so I'm heavy in week 9, but if you're going to stack, sometimes that's going to occur. So let's see as we're coming around. Rashee Rice, I like. There goes Dulcich, so I lost out on that, but I had to get Russell Wilson because I had Sutton and Jeudy. Prefer that even though I lost out on Dulcich. Tight end options that are coming back to me. Dalton Kincaid is there. He's probably not going to last. I like Chig Okongwu from Tennessee. People are shying away from Tennessee, but Chig Okongwu as a tight end was not a guy that you're getting here in round 11 or round 12 that you're looking for 70 or 80 receptions. What you're looking for from Chig is 50, 60 receptions, solid performance, maybe 6, 7 touchdowns would be fantastic, and the value here is great. So I like Chig. I like Tyler Higbee also with the Rams. Tyler Higbee, death taxes, always finds a way to 60 yards, it seems like every game, whether Stafford's there or not. Gerald Everett, I could stack, of course. Laporta. So there's some options here at tight end. Let's look at some of the wide receivers. Van Jefferson, who's someone on social media has been getting a lot of press. You know, KJ Osborne is a guy who I think is underrated. We are just assuming in a pass-happy Minnesota attack with Alexander Mattison, who has not been a tremendously efficient running back, was it 3.7, 3.8 yards per carry last year, that he's automatically going to step in. This could be a Vikings team that has a lot of negative regression, could be a Vikings team that struggles this year, even though they brought in Brian Flores for defensive coordinator. If they're going to pass, you know, KJ Osborne had 60 receptions last year. That's nothing to sneeze at. And now Adam Thielen's gone. The assumption that Jordan Addison's just going to automatically step in here and become the wide receiver too is a big leap of faith for me, especially with a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins who's going to be accustomed to hitting certain receivers. So I don't like Jordan Addison's price. I like KJ Osborne's price, which is right around right now. So I'm looking at Osborne. He is the 5th receiver. There's Rondell Moore, Gallup, Van Jefferson, Thielen, and Osborne. Kincaid is still there. It's going to be very tough to pass on Dalton Kincaid, who's been seen as a huge part of this offense. I also like Khalil Shakir. There goes Kincaid. He's gone. So the question is, what do I do here? There goes Higbee as well. I think I have to take a tight end. I think I have to take a tight end, and that's what I'm going to do. I need to secure a tight end here. I'd love to get Osborne also. You know what I'll do is I'll take Everett to get the stack going here with the Chargers. I like Donald Parham late, but if I don't have exposure to Quentin Johnston, who I love, or Williams or Keenan Allen, if deciding between Chig Okongwu or Gerald Everett, I'm going to go with Everett because I'm going to want that stack there with Justin Herbert. Already have the 2 with the Broncos. Love to get that. So there's my tight end. Maybe I'll get lucky and Osborne or Chig will come back to me. That would be fantastic. If Chig is there, I can take him or KJ Osborne, who I think is a real solid pick. Like I said, I'm getting potentially 60 receptions right now in around 12 or 13 and maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. I don't know if you can ask for more than that in a pass-happy offense in Minnesota. Thielen is going. Next is Rondell Moore. No interest in Rondell Moore at all. Really like the way this team is coming along. Kendra Miller in New Orleans. Tough for me because Jamal Williams is there, because Alvin Kamara will be suspended, but it's starting to rumor now at FTN. We're hearing between 2 to 4 games suspended for Alvin Kamara. So what are you going to do with Kendra Miller? There goes Chig. No problem. I think the move was to get Gerald Everett. I'm targeting KJ Osborne coming back around. That's my big focus here. Coming up in 4 picks. Let's see who we get here. There goes Van Jefferson. The question is KJ Osborne going to be someone that they're attracted to, that somebody is going to look and say, I really need him? Now, Marvin Mims is also down there. That's another option for me if Osborne is not available. So I could do the triple stack. But again, I have a lot of wide receivers on bye week 9. So I probably like a little diversity with Osborne. Either way is fine. Let's see here. Yep, I got Khalil Shakir coming up at the wraparound. That's the next guy I would want. There goes Algier. I just don't know if Osborne has the panache that someone would grab him here. On the clock. Let's see. It's got 7 wide receivers. This guy, I'd be shocked if he takes another wide receiver. Steel City. And then Badass here could definitely take a wide receiver because he's got 5 running backs. So I could lose him here. There goes Jordan Love. It comes down to this guy whether he's taking KJ Osborne. Come on, take Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You want Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Go ahead, go for the best ball. Derek Carr, fantastic. I'll take Osborne and see if I can get Mibbs coming back. There it is. Fantastic. So that gives me now with my team, let's take a look. We have 2, and this is shaping up to be a very strong team. 2 solid quarterbacks. I don't need a third. 4 running backs, all of which are solid, not great, but solid. Montgomery, Cook, P. Ryan, Robinson. 6 wideouts, Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, Osborne, and Gerald Everett. So I think I need a tight end. I think that's going to be the next focus here coming back around. And definitely because I waited, there goes Marvin Mims. So I lost out on Mims, which is fine because I like stacking and triple stacking is fantastic, but I don't know if we want a triple stack when we have so many receivers on bye week 9, which is what Mims would be. I'm fine with Osborne. I think he's a solid choice there instead of Mims. So looking at the tight ends that are available, Cole Kmet is there. Laporta for Detroit, again, to continue my Detroit stack where I have Amon-Ra and I have David Montgomery. Juwan Johnson, now that Jimmy Graham is there. I don't like Jimmy Graham, but Jimmy Graham is going to affect other players that are there, other tight ends that are there as well. So we have some time here. If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the chat as well. Irv Smith is an option with Cincinnati. He's shown out there. Tyler Conklin is another guy. You know, Tyler Conklin last year, 58 receptions, previous year, 61 receptions. So very solid, consistent production. And that was with subpar quarterback play. So you're looking at Tyler Conklin, who is going as a tight end 24. So he is the very last tight end 2, if you will, among the Underdog Fantasy ADP. And he's now with Aaron Rodgers, which you assume has to be better. You saw Garrett Wilson limp off, and there's all uncertainty with the wide receivers here. Very interesting player, Tyler Conklin. If he comes back around, that will be my pick. There goes Laporta. And there's a lot of tight ends in front of him, so he should be there. Cole Kmet, Taysom Hill, Irv Smith, Juwan Johnson, Dawson Knox, Mike Gesicki, all ahead of Tyler Conklin. Getting 60 receptions, which he got the last 2 years, in a Jets offense with a Hall of Fame legendary quarterback. It's never a bad thing, especially in round 14 of a best ball draft. So I'd love to get Parham late. And if I can get Tyler Conklin here, then I'll just roll with Conklin, assuming that their buys are different, which I think there are. Conklin's bye week is 7. Yes, that is different. I'll roll with him. I'll grab Parham late. I'll have Everett or Parham covering myself there, whoever steps forward. And I'll have Conklin, which I think is very, very solid. I also want Shakir as my receiver. I think I can get Shakir on the way back around. That would be a risk, but if Gabe Davis doesn't pop in Buffalo, and you can go to Adam Pfeiffer, he's a Bills fan here at FTN, does incredible work writing for us, fantasy podcast, the whole thing. Our datacast is Adam Pfeiffer. He's fantastic. And he'll tell you, if Gabe Davis doesn't pop, then someone else has to pop. And it could be Dalton Kincaid at tight end. He's not going to block Dalton Kincaid, but he sure as heck can catch, and he's been moved all around. Or it could be Khalil Shakir, who could be everything we wanted Isaiah McKenzie to be, but he wasn't. One more pick here, and then we can get our guy. Cole Kmet goes just like I thought, so I'll grab Tyler Conklin, and I'll hope that I can get Khalil Shakir on the way back. Again, this team is shaping up very, very nicely. 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 receivers, 2 tight ends, perfect build. Don't need the third quarterback. Those 2 guys should carry me. I do need another running back for sure. Looking like Joshua Kelly here. Probably should get 6, only because I don't have a lot of depth there. And then the 2 tight ends is where we're at. Let's see who's gone here. Conklin went. Running backs. You know, there's the Roshan Johnson, Deonta Foreman area. Ford as the receiving back in Cleveland. Kenny Gainwell, who actually Bo Wolf from The Athletic covered us in the team preview series here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bo Wolf told us that he absolutely loves Kenny Gainwell and he loves his efficiency. And, you know, Rashad Penny has not been an absolute clean, healthy person every single year. So there's a way that we could see Kenny Gainwell work himself into this offense again. So that's somebody that I'm keeping an eye on. Ezekiel Elliott has yet to sign. He went out to dinner with Mac Jones, who's sitting on the same side of the table, which is weird. Jeff Wilson, Zamir White, who have gotten a lot. Kevin Adams, our CEO here at FTN, has gotten him a lot in his recent best balls because, of course, this Josh Jacobs thing seems to have legs. How long is Josh Jacobs going to hold out? And if he does, could it be him or Amir Abdullah? Should be Zamir White. Chuba Hubbard, not a lot of great guys here. So I'd love to grab Shakir, who is 6 receivers away. Are we really going to lose that many receivers? There goes Brock Purdy. See, I don't want any part of scrambling for quarterbacks right now with Brock Purdy. And I like Desmond Ridder. I've gone Desmond Ridder a couple times, but I need to diversify a little bit and not put all my eggs in the Desmond Ridder basket here. There goes Gainwell. That's a good pick by Mr. Run Likely there. M. Run Likely, very good. Gainwell's a good pick, which is fine. I'm going with Shakir, assuming he gets to me. You know, the other attractive part here with wide receivers, Richie James and Justin Ross, both of which who have popped here in our training camp reports. Be very, very careful with them. Richie James and Justin Ross both have been absolutely excellent. One of them could pop. I just put out my article today, handcuffing wide receivers, which if you want to grab somebody late, I get it. Maybe you're worried about an injury or something. If you have Sky Moore, you have Rashee Rice, you have Kadarius Toney even. Shakir is going to be available. I'm going to take him here. I want parts of this Buffalo offense, and if I can get it, especially at round 15, then I'm going to do it every single time. Only 10 seconds left here. We're going to grab Shakir, which would give us a 7th wide receiver, which is fantastic. There he is. He's shining in spring practice. Fantastic. So again, this team is doing very well. Herbert and Wilson, 2 solid quarterbacks. Monty, Cook, P. Ryan Robinson. I need a running back. And then I have 7 wide receivers. So the move right now, as we're in round 15, is running backs. I usually don't go deeper than 8 wide receivers. 7 is good. I prefer the 8th, but these are a solid group. Looking at running backs coming back around. Yeah, I mean, if Zamir White is there, I can take him. I'm cooling to some of these other guys because they're not getting signed. Look at the Colts situation with Jonathan Taylor. Is he injured? Is he not? He wants to be traded. Zach Moss got injured the other day. He's going to be out for a while. Do they go and do they grab Leonard Fournette? Do they go and do they grab Kareem Hunt? No, they ignored both those guys. They took an unsigned guy who went to Indianapolis in college. Very odd. So I'm not sure if the move right now, a lot of people have pushed to gobble up the Leonard Fournettes, and that's something I was doing also. Zeke Elliott, those guys. Are we sure that they're going to get enough of a touch share and sign with a team that has an offense that's so potent that they're going to be worth it? I'm not so sure about that. So definitely looking at running back here. Love this team. I can't tell you enough. And put in the chat if you have a question. Do you go wide receiver early? I do. I like my team better when I go wide receiver early. I prefer picking at the back end of round 1 where I can double tap wide receiver right away. And then when I come back around for round 3, round 4, I usually like to grab Najee and a wide receiver. So I get out of 4 rounds with 3 wide receivers and 1 solid running back. And people don't like Najee because the stats aren't great, because he started the year poorly. Once he got healthy later in the year, you take his rookie season where he had over 70 receptions with Pittsburgh, and that was with Ben Roethlisberger. Now you have Kenny Pickett, same type of quarterback in terms of limited. They're not going to be slinging all over the place with Kenny Pickett. It's going to be somewhat conservative. You take him, you take that first year, and you take the second half of last year. Najee Harris has been fantastic. He's in camp. He's signed. Jaylen Warren is there. I get it, but I think we're a little too excited about Jaylen Warren. Mike Tomlin has been fantasy gold for us as a head coach. He is someone who who's getting the ball. He's predictable at the goal line. They're not going to be doing a jet sweeps. It's going to be Najee up the middle, which is why he stays healthy, double-digit touchdowns, and conservatively 50, 60 receptions. You just can't find that level of consistency and expectation and projection with a lot of these running backs. Jaylen Warren isn't taking Najee Harris off the field that much. Maybe 2-minute drill, maybe some of that stuff. But the high cholesterol, as Rich Rebar says at Warren Sharp, there works for Sharp Football, those high cholesterol, saturated fat touches are going to be for Najee Harris. And that's why I like getting him. I prefer 3 wide receivers early and Najee to have that 1 running back as I get out of those first 4 rounds. Coming back, round 16 here. Again, we're looking at running backs. Zamir White is still on the board. So is Gus Edwards, whose contract was restructured. I know they have Melvin Gordon, but you have J.K. Dobbins. We haven't seen him a lot. There's questions he's upset about his role. Starting to worry me a little bit. Ty Chandler also there. I don't believe necessarily in Alexander Madison. There goes Zamir White. So maybe Ty Chandler is the choice. I do like Joshua Kelly also, and I don't want to lose him. Deneric Prince is also there in KC, which is fascinating. I don't want to lose Joshua Kelly, but I don't think anyone's going to take him. I'm set with that. My tight ends, I can wait till the last one there. I need running backs. Oh, boy. I'm going to take a chance on here in round 16. I'm going to take Kelly. I want Kelly. He's my guy. That's been my theory. Grab the guys that you want. I took Amara there in the first round, pick 5. I don't care that it's too early. That's my guy. So I wanted Joshua Kelly is one of my guys. And these guys are not fantastic backfields, but I have Monty, who should get the goal line touches in an offense that averaged 33 points per game at home with Detroit. He's following a player in Jamal Williams who just had 17 touchdowns. Even if we get 10, I'll be happy because I got him in the middle rounds. James Cook, who I'm starting to believe is going to be the lead rusher there in Buffalo in a high-octane offense, catching passes out of the backfield. Samaje P. Ryan, who is great at receptions, and I'm not buying into Javonte Williams just because he's available and you see him running does not mean he's going to come back and be as impactful as he was prior to the injury. Brian Robinson, full training camp, full preseason, lead guy, new guy coming in new offensive coordinator coming out coming into me. I think Robinson will be a big part. And Joshua Kelly. And I do think that former Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore is going to use both Eckler and Kelly. Eckler is not coming back to this team. He almost held out. They almost tried to trade him. They couldn't get value for him. There's no way they're re-signing him. So they're going to have to work another back end. And in that case, I think it's going to be Josh Kelly. Here we go, coming back around. So I got Kelly. Let's look at the tight ends. Juwan Johnson, Gesicki, Hunter Henry's there. I've gotten Hunter Henry a lot. That may be the choice for me because Hunter Henry has been fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to go with Henry. I know Gesicki's there, but Henry 2 years ago had 9 touchdowns in New England, had that connection with Mac Jones, has shown a strong connection already. Conservative offense here, I know, but Hunter Henry, can you get me 5, 6 touchdowns here in round 17? No problem at all. So who's going to be my last pick? So right now I have a build here of 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and a tight end. The question is, because I have Herbert and Wilson who are solid, is it going to be a running back or is it going to be a wide receiver? Running backs, Gus Edwards, Ty Chandler, no interest there. Deneric Prince is another guy I could get. He has popped. He has been fantastic. If you see on Underdog, he has certainly produced. He's an undrafted free agent, but he is talented and has been rising quickly. Deuce Vaughn in Dallas. Can they use him like they used Darren Sproles used to be used? Absolutely. That's really it. Wide receivers. Devontae Parker's falling awfully far. I don't want too much of this offense, but still. Who else? Marvin Jones. I love Marvin Jones. Josh Reynolds still there. Denzel Mims. A lot of questions with that offense. Let's see what we got here as we're coming back down. There goes Devontae Parker. The question is, do I want the 6th running back or do I want the 8th wide receiver? Now, you have to have 3. You have to have 3 wide receivers, but I got some good ones on this team. I have Amara, Devonta, Judy, McLaurin, Sutton. It is very difficult for me not to see 2 of those 5 get in the scoring column every week for me. So the question is, do I want to go with Monty, Cook, P. Ryan, Robinson, and Kelly and get an 8th, or do I want to have a 6th running back? That is the difficult question. Let's see. Renfro, Robert Woods is still there. Bobby Trees, go for it. Josh Palmer. Palmer had 72 receptions last year. Now, I know he's sliding down the depth chart, but that was a lot of receptions and would help me with my stack. That's a tough one. I originally had thought about getting Donald Parham, but I took Henry instead, which is fine because that's another solid tight end. Oh, this is so tough. What do you think, folks? Do I take the 6th running back or do I take another wide receiver? Let's see. What does Best Ball Underdog just pick the best possible guys per week? I think that's tough, Jonathan. That's the one where you do the weekly winners. And we've done that one. This is BBM here. So this is not picking the best weekly ones. That's the weekly winners one. That's a fantastic one as well. So for my last pick, folks, I'm just not enthralled with any of these. Ty Chandler's there. Deneric Prince. You can't go wrong with the Kansas City offense, can you? I'll take Deneric Prince. So there's my team, folks. I went with the 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers, which is fine. The reason I went with the 6 running backs is because none of these guys are really elite top running backs. If I had a Nick Chubb, if I had an Austin Eckler, probably just would have went with 5. Monty, Cook, P. Ryan, Robinson, Kelly, and Prince, those are fine. I just need help from the wide receivers, and we'll score big. We need to have 3 of them every week. Of course, we need the flex, but we have the 3 tight ends as well. Shakir, Osborne, safe play, Sutton, and Judy across the board. There we go. The projection, of course, which is interesting, is 26398, which is fine. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it as always. We are here with you whenever you need us. FTN Fantasy, YouTube channel, Best Ball, lighten it up. Thank you for coming in. We'll be back next Tuesday, guys. Tuesday, 7 o'clock. I'll try to get Sam or Adam or someone to join me here, maybe Chris Meany even, to do a best ball draft and have a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Randle. Follow me on Twitter at Randle Rant. Best ball season, redraft season, everything you need. FTN Fantasy. Stay with us.